So guys, cocoon shaped, striped addition, mix and matching. What else could you want from your kimono? This is a chin and just sewing space where you learn to and style the wardrobe of your dreams. If you didn't know that already, now you know. But this is what we're going to be sewing today, right? And like usual on this channel, the first part is our pattern drafting. The second part will be us sewing it up, and I will show you in the sewing part how to do the flat felled seams, okay, how to attach this collar and how to do the arms of that. All that will be in the sewing part, but I will show you how to cut that out first in the pattern drafting section, which is this section of the video. So please do stay along, and I'll see you guys in the next clip. So like you can tell from the title, today we'll be making a kimono jacket or a kimono dress or simply a kimono, whichever you want to call it. I've been wanting to sew this for a very long time. So let's dig in. So now, as always, I'm just using a mock-up. This is not my actual dress size. I'm just doing this so that it can fit in the screen for you guys. All right, let's go. So first things first, I want to add my allowances because it's a form-fitting dress. Okay, so we're going to cancel out this dart here. We're not going to be doing anything with it, and we will straighten out this curve, or maybe not really straighten out per se, just okay, no, let's leave this like this because I do want it to have some shaping at the waistline. Okay, all right, and I think we'll be working on the let's work on the front first, okay? But I'm using the same pattern for the front and the back. You'll see why in a minute. So since it's a loose fitting dress, I am going to be adding on my pattern, I will be adding a 1 inch seam allowance. No, sorry, a 1 inch ease allowance, not seam allowance now. 1 inch ease allowance, so that will be 1 inch, so that would be here and here. Okay, and we will just join all that together. So 1 inch of ease in there. Make sure you write it 1 inch. Then for the front, I want also 1 inch of overlap, okay, so that when we wear it at the front, it can cross over. Okay, so that would be on my actual pattern. I'll be putting 1 inch, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna put it here. Honestly guys, this pattern drafting is so easy to make this wonderful kimono. You'll see as we're doing it now. Okay, and if you like pattern drafting videos, I do have a playlist for pattern drafting for all the things that we have made on the channel. Now for the neckline, we are going to have a slanted neckline, and you can choose where you want the slant to hit you. Okay, I prefer somewhere under my armhole, right? But most people just go ahead and use 13 inches. So do that, find somewhere under your armhole, you know, maybe like your bust line, but not on your hip line. Okay, so I would just mark from here to there and just draw that line in. Remember, we're using this same pattern for our front and our back, and this here is our back neckline. Okay, so don't throw that away because we'll be using it for our back. Okay, now that we're done with all the ease in the garment, all right, all we now have is this dart. We need to move it somewhere, and as you can tell from the title, this is going to be a bucket style kimono. I don't really know what the exact term is, bucket style, you know, or I don't know. If you know what the exact like fashion term is, please leave that down for me in the comment section. Okay, so right, my full length that I'm going to use is 40. I was thinking of using 46 inches. So I'm now talking of like what my actual measurement, what I'm going to do, and I've decided that I want the part that's the part where that creates the bucket to come up by 10 inches. Okay, so just remember that when you are when you are drafting your pattern for yourself, right, come up by 10 inches. 6 1/4. Okay, I hope you guys are following so far. Okay, now there is the question of this dart, right? To create the bucket style, we need to add volume to the bottom, to this line that we have drawn here, for here to flare out and here flare out. Then we will get our bucket shape that we want. Okay, so now I will just draw this line, down, all the way down to the end of the pattern. Okay, so let's just cut into that first so that it will give us an idea of where to put our other lines. Okay, so okay, then I would like to put another okay, I will just open that up. Let me say like maybe like 2 inches. All right, 2 inches, and then I would tape here because I actually shouldn't have cut all the way, right? 2 inches. Okay, so now this is where the magic of the bucket happens. You see this line here, right? This line here that we cut for our other one. We are now going to cut off that part. So as you can see, I have added this to show you the distance. So we take whatever measurement we have here, like in how many lines we slashed, and transfer them to the bottom half that we cut off. Okay, so like I was saying, this is 7 inches. I will now come over here and give a distance of 7 inches. I tape it down. Okay, then I come here, measure this one was 1 inch. I make sure I am matching up the lines here, okay, and I measure 1 inch distance. That's the 1 inch there. And we are doing this so that by the time we are sewing it up, okay, by the time we are sewing this back up, right, it matches. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. Let me cut out everything, then maybe it will be a lot more clearer for you guys. Okay, so this is the pattern for the front. Okay, but we'll also cut off this neckline. So this is our pattern for the front, and as you can remember, it's we used half of the front, so we're going to be cutting this in two. This is the center front, this is the side seam. Like I always tell you guys, label everything, okay? This is the center front, this is the side seam, all right? And we are going to be cutting two, right? Okay, now for the back, we will not add this part, because if you can remember, this is the overlap, okay? And the overlap is where is so that when we put on the kimono jacket or whatever, maybe we want to turn it into a dress, we want to tie it up, it can cross over at the front and give us an overlapping effect so that we can put on a belt and transform it into a dress. But for the back, we do not need this extension, right? So we'll just be cutting from this line, okay? You take that line up, then you give your normal neckline for your back, all right? But I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So like I was saying, for the back, we do not need this overlap of the center front. And also remember that we're also going to add in the striped fabric. So this is 1 inch. That striped fabric is going to be 2 inches, right? Which is 4 inches altogether, but 2 inches is what's going to be visible. So the overlap is going to be 3 inch in total. But like I was saying, for the back, we will just use this line here and take it up, all the way up, okay? We're trying to create our back neckline. Take from the shoulder point, draw the line. We will now draw our back neckline. So this is the edge of the neckline, right? So take it from the shoulder here. Okay, so when you are cutting out the pattern for the back, you will then cut off this line. Okay, cut this. Okay, this will be the top portion of our center back. We'll also use this as the bottom portion of our center back, but we will also cut off this extension here. Okay, so basically this is it. So to get the measurement for the striped fabric that will run you know, all the way through the front neckline. So we go from here of the neck, we measure it, right? Measure here, and come to keep that measurement. Okay, let me measure mine now. So we'll measure 2.5. So that is 2.5 plus, and we now measure. And remember, we came out 1 inch. Okay, so 5.5 plus 20. Don't forget this bottom part, we will now measure it as well. So 6 inches. So plus 6 inches. All right, let me make this. So 2.5 plus 20 plus 6. So that is 26, 27, 28. So that's 28.5 inches, right? And that is for one side. So we will now multiply this measurement by 2 to get the measurement that will go round the front. Okay, remember, it's going to come up here like this, go round the neck, then come back down again. So whatever you get for here for your own measurement, that is what you cut from the striped fabric. Okay, so we're done with the front and the back, and I want to talk about the sleeve. Now this is the sleeve. Like I said, again, it's a mock-up sleeve, it's not the real sleeve. So basically we're going to do the same thing. Decide the length we want for our boat, right? So this will be, I've decided to make it 2 inch for this our pattern, but for the sake of this tutorial. But on your actual patterns, you will draw whatever you want, because this is a 3/4 sleeve for me, right? You can decide to have this long sleeve anyhow you want. Okay, I'm going to put an elastic at the end of the sleeve just because I want to. Now if you can remember, for the armhole of the front and back bodies, we added 1 inch of ease. Okay, come here, you add your 1 inch, right? And you take that down. Okay, then I have decided, like I said, that I want to put an elastic on the end of this. So to do that, I'm going to need to widen this bottom bit. So from here, I would draw a straight line. If you even wanted, you could make this come out some more, just so that that bottom part will be fuller. The more you wing this part out, the fuller this part is going to be. Okay, so we do that. Then, just like the front, we draw lines that we are going to slash into. Okay, so now we cut this off. Like I said, it's just like in the bodice pattern side. Okay, I'll cut this. So for my own part, I will be doing a 1 inch spread. So that would be 1 inch. Okay. Okay, so we would join our lines this way. Okay, then we will just cut out everything. Okay, this is the top part of the sleeve. Now for the bottom part, same thing. We'll cut here. Remember, this is the top, this is the top, this is the top, this is the top. Okay, so now we get, and we spread by exactly the same amount we spread on the top part, so that when we are sewing them back together, they match. Okay, if not, you'll be having one bigger, the other one smaller. So one inch. Okay, so we will draw smooth lines. Okay, cut these out. So these will now form the sleeves. Okay, so I'm happy we have done this. Okay, this is the front and the back pattern, and this is the sleeve pattern. Remember, we're putting an elastic here, and we would have measured, right, for our striped fabric, and we got 28.5 inches. We multiplied that by 2 because it's going to go round the front. Okay guys, I am happy we're at the end of, almost at the end of this talking hands section or talking finger section. And if you've been on this channel before, if you followed me for any pattern drafting, you know the next part is where I cut out my original, cut out my pattern in my original size and with the fabric and show you guys. So that's what we'll be going into next. Okay peeps, this is what we have. I have cut everything out, and if you're not following me on Instagram, better do, because I was giving you guys, you know, blow by blow what was happening, and I explained all this there, and we're trying to pick out the, or rather we were, because by the time this is up you would have missed that, we're trying to pick out a thread for top stitching. Anyways, so this is the front, we cut twice. This is the back top piece anyway. This is the bottom bit, this is the bottom bit for the back. This is the top part of the sleeve, and this is the bottom part of the sleeve. I ran out of my main fabric, so I just got out some black fabric from my stash. It's actually light, it's a light fabric, and this is a light fabric as well, just that it's stiff, because, and I think that's because of the starch in it, but the flat felt seam, I'm hoping would help it keep its shape, right? Then this is the piece for the front. Okay, we calculated from there down and the part of the front here, and we multiplied that by 2, and we got what we're using for the front. Okay, what else? Yeah, that's about it. And I'm doing flat felt seam everywhere apart from the armhole. Okay, you can see the armhole. I'm just gonna do a regular stitch, but yeah. So the next part of the video will be doing the stitching up of this whole kimono jacket with the, I don't know if it's called a cocoon or bucket style, whatever you have, but stay on to that part, and we're going to be discussing, you know, flat felt seaming, top stitching, and all that good stuff. Okay, before I forget, this has to be interfaced, but I haven't done that now. We've not had electricity for a while, for a couple of hours, but I will do that. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the second part of the video, and thank you. Keep sewing and subscribing.